right, we are on page 2 of your digital notebook. You will want to click Next one time in your e-text if you are using the e-text, or you should be on page 28 in your textbook. This very first question is a mastery check question. It is, where was the first center of agriculture? It will be in this circled yellow sentence. Let's go ahead and listen.
Where did farming begin, and how did it spread? No one knows for sure where people first began to plant seeds for food. Still, archaeologists have found evidence to suggest where farming began and how it spread. They have also learned something about the way people lived in early farming communities. Where were the first centers of agriculture? Most historians believe that about 10,000 years ago, southwestern Asia became the first center of agriculture.
All right. Where was the first center of agriculture? You will find it in that sentence that was just read to you. Get it in your digital notebook now. Number 2, what evidence do historians use to support their belief in the origins of agriculture? You will find that answer in this green couple of sentences. Let's listen now.
There, scientists have unearthed seeds from domesticated wheat plants that were buried long ago. The seeds are similar to wild varieties of wheat that still grow in the area.
All right. What evidence do historians use to support their belief in the origins of agriculture? What have they found in that area to use as evidence to support their belief that this is where agriculture began? Go ahead and pause my video and get that answer now. All right, let's move on to page 3. Number 3, what are the main costs and benefits of farming? Let's go ahead and listen.
Farming may then have spread from southwestern Asia westward into Africa. It may have also spread northward into Europe and eastward into the Indus River Valley of South Asia. Other centers of agriculture appeared independently in different areas of the world. In southwestern Asia, for example, farming began when people started to plant wheat and barley. In the southern part of present-day China, farming began with the domestication of rice. Farther to the north, a grain called millet was the first crop to be domesticated. In Central and South America, people learned to grow potatoes, beans, and squash. In Africa, farming began with crops such as sorghum and yams. What were the costs and benefits of farming? In every place that agriculture developed, the transition from hunting and gathering to farming took place gradually over a long period of time. Each way of life had costs as well as benefits. Some of the costs of shifting to agriculture were clear. First, planting crops and herding, or bringing together animals, took a great deal of time and energy. Second, farming was uncertain. If a year's crop failed due to bad weather or disease, a family might starve. Third, farming could be dangerous. Evidence suggests that bands of nomads sometimes attacked farmers and stole their food. Agriculture also offered many benefits. Farming produced more food and required less land than hunting and gathering. An early farm family might need only 6 to 7 acres of land to raise enough wheat or maize to feed themselves for a year. In contrast, a hunter-gatherer family needed about 20,000 acres on which to find enough food for a year.
All right, the question, what are the main costs and benefits of farming? So this is a two-part question. So there are 3 costs that are laid out here. I'd like you to get all 3 of them. And then I'd also like you to list the 2 benefits. There's 2 benefits that are listed here, and I'd like you to get those as well. So there are 5 things you should have listed here. I'm going to put it in 2 separate questions in your formative. So benefits and costs. Please get that answer now. The next question is a mastery check question. What made the first villages possible? You'll find that in this yellow circled text.
As a result of agriculture, more people were able to build permanent homes and farming villages. Farming also provided new sources of material for clothing. Later in this section, you'll read more about the new types of shelter and clothing that were invented during the Neolithic era. Some groups tried farming for a time and then returned to hunting and gathering. But in the end, most people chose to remain farmers.
Number 4, what made the first villages possible? You will find that answer in this circled yellow paragraph.